Hey guys, so it's bringing you another video and welcome to patch notes, and this is a big one. Welcome to preseason. So we're gonna go through pretty much everything. It might not be in the most detail, as I will say. I've just actually got back from watching Black Panther 2, and I do not have long to make this video. It is basically 10 p.m, so I need to record this, get it rendered into a video, upload it in about 2 hours. We can do it. So, but the one thing I will say is we have covered a lot of this stuff in past videos. So if I have covered it, I basically will say that we have done videos on it. We made a whole preseason video a few weeks ago. Feel free to go look at that if you want more details. So we're going to mainly go on like kind of an overview very quickly-ish. We'll still probably do quite a long time. Anyway, champion-specific buffs, only 3. Cho'Gath, Lily, Nunu. New, we got a bunch of new items. We'll go through obviously what they are, but the one I'm excited about is the return of Rod of Ages. I've had a bunch of people say to me, Huz, with your champion pool, mainly control mages, are you excited about that? Yes, I am. Yes, I'm looking forward to test that. Just reminding everybody though, preseason content on my channel will not actually be starting, believe it or not, really until next week. I have still a bunch of content from the main account, you know, the kind of final push on that account, and then I've got a little bit of unranked to diamond as well that I just want to upload that stuff, and that will take us into kind of a week from now. There might be like one challenger spectate in a few nights time that we might kind of just do like a high rating spectate just to see what like the changes will be in a challenger spectate. But anyway, let's get into it. So we've got a bunch of new items. We've got Space Groove skins. Victoria Sejuani is the skin this year. If you've got gold and above in solo queue or Flex, that's the skin that you get. And obviously you get the various different chromas depending what rank you actually got. If you just got gold, I believe you just get the Sejuani skin. There might be a gold chroma, I guess. But yeah, anything above that 100% has a chroma. So very exciting. We're getting a champion adjustment to Rakan, and we're getting a bunch of adjustments to tank items, basically a little bit. Ravenous Hydra, Tiamat, more tank items, Smite itself, Lane Golden Experience, Jungle itself, communication tools, towers, and Rift Herald. Whew. So, let's get into it. First thing is the return of Chemtech Dragon. So, obviously, it used to be insane. Everybody said it's not a good idea, and what did Riot do? They did it anyway, and then a few patches later, got rid of it. So, the new one is Chemtech Dragon. So when the Chemtech Dragon is below half health, it gains 33% damage resistance and deals 50% more damage. The Drake will deal 100% total AD plus 4% of its target's health as physical damage with each attack. It does a lot of damage, this dragon. This is the type of dragon that you might not be able to solo in the early game as a more squishy jungler. It's kind of a bit meaner. The Chemtech buff that you're getting, though, per stack, obviously, that you kill a Chemtech Dragon, is a stacking buff that grants 5% tenacity and 5% healing and shielding power. Pretty damn powerful, especially the tenacity. And then this soul, if you manage to get, you know, the 4 dragons, and it's a Chemtech map, you get, players will receive a buff that gives them 10% damage resistance and 10% more damage while below 50% health. So it's kind of keeping a little bit of the ethos of what the old one did, but without the crazy zombie mechanic and all that nut stuff. And no camouflage anymore. There's no zone that does camouflage. What it does now is this. So it basically mutates the plants on Summoner's Rift. So the fruit plants get upgraded into that they heal more, or no, the usual heal plus a bonus shield, in addition to no longer slowing you when you eat the fruit. The blast cones now double the range of how long you can kind of blast somewhere, and then the sight one, which is arguably the strongest one now of these 3, they upgraded, so they have a bloom which will reveal a small area around the plant in addition to the usual cone in the opposite direction it was broken from. Allies tagged will also gain movement speed towards that direction for a short period of time, and enemy wards are revealed will be taken immediately to 1 health. So pretty nice. So that's Chemtech Dragon, it's back. Jungle changes, just to go through it kind of pretty quickly. It's, in my opinion, a little bit gimmicky. We'll see how it feels in playing, obviously, a bunch of games with it. And yes, I will be jungling in this preseason. I'm going to be playing all the roles in our Nuzlocke challenge that we'll be doing. But the first changes are marked for death. When a large monster dies, all small monsters in their camp will be marked for death. After 10 consecutive seconds of not being in combat with a champion, monsters have them be marked for death with die. Now, it's both a good and a bad thing, this. It's making the jungle easier. That is their goal with what they're doing here, because it's making it easier technically to counter jungle, because if you wanted to kind of, well, it's making it less punishing to get counter jungle, therefore it's making it the role easier because you're not having that big gap. If a jungler invades your jungle and leaves one little thing up, that little thing is going to be up there and not respawning the whole camp until you go and clear that. And that could be a while. Well, now this is more forgiving because you could get invaded. They go, I'm going to leave that little wraith or that little wolf, and haha, screw them. They don't get any gold. Well, now it just dies anyway, so you don't get as punished for that. So then junglers now deal 20% more damage to non-true damage sources to monsters on their own side of the jungle. This increased damage will not only apply when invading and dealing damage to the enemy's camps. So it doesn't apply to their side, it only applies to your side. So again, faster jungle clearing for that. And then the parting gifts, all large monsters will now heal a certain amount and give also mana if you have a champion that obviously requires mana. And then the heal mana restoration will take the form of a projectile that will be fired towards the champion that last hit the monster with a 0.3 decay. So also you're getting healing from killing stuff too. Camp Gold, they've changed a bunch of the experience. Blue Sentinel's getting a little bit different changes. It has less attack damage but more health. And then Blue Sentinel also deals 5% of its target's current health on hit. So it could be quite painful if you're a tank jungler. Gromp also getting changes. Krug's also getting changes. Every camp's getting changes. Like, the kind of big thing here, there has been a rumor that tank meta might be returning. And one way that they can kind of nerf that a little bit is make the jungle camps hurt things that have more health. So, and it's technically targets current health percentage. Some people say, oh, that hurts everybody. If you're an assassin jungler with 1500 health and it takes 10% off you with 2 hits, that's the same as, you're still getting 10% off, but 10% is very different depending what champion you are. If you're playing a tank jungler with 3000 health versus an assassin jungler with 1500 health, you're taking double the amount of damage from these camps. It is a way that they can tone down tanks having that absolute, well, have everything practically. So there's all the changes. If you want to go through them, they're basically all the same with a little bit of adjustments here or there. The Rift Herald, by the way, so experience given to champs within 600 units is now being nerfed to 200 and then 300, I'm guessing, for the first and then the second Rift Herald. And then the first Rift is now being, the first spawned Rift Herald charge was 2,000, it's now 1,500, so less damage in the early game from the first Rift Herald. I see that as a good thing. Rift Herald has been a little bit annoying, to say the least, like, especially I would say to top laners, that usually you're in a 1v1, 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 nothing's happening. Oh, the enemy jungler's top lane with Rift Herald. Oh, my tower's now dead. Great. So that will limit that a little bit, which is good. Rift Scuttler as well, no longer has a shield, but has more health. And then the big thing, and is what I'm not a massive fan of, I will say, but we'll see how it grows with me. So the gimmick of jungle pets. It isn't like really the first time that we've had this, because like Spirit of the Elder Lizard and stuff used to have a pet kind of thing, but not as in-depth in this. So basically Pokemon style, you start with a starter that evolves up to a main or more powerful version. They don't do anything properly. Basically they are giving you stats, but without doing anything major. You can't kill an enemy jungler's pet or anything like that. So basically the 3 different variants is just obviously what type of style you want. So your companions will attack and help. Obviously you do jungle clearing. They also heal their owner for 70% of the above number every time they attack. So again, more sustain for junglers. And damaging a camp from distance will call the camp companions to leap and already go for the thing. So Basically, it works in a treat system, so they get 1 treat per large monster or champion takedown. 1 bonus treat is stored every 60 seconds before reaching the companion's final evolution form, and then a treat is stored every 90 seconds after reaching the companion's final form. And then when a large monster is killed with bonus treats available, players will receive 2 treats and 50 bonus gold, and 1 bonus treat stack will also be removed. So I'm guessing they still gain some type of strength after the final form or something. So the first evolution is the 900 true damage against monsters. Then, which is crazy to me because they only not too long ago nerfed Smite, they are now buffing Smite again. So when it goes to final evolution, Smite is going up to 1200. That's a big Smite. And also do 50% of its damage as AoE against nearby monsters. So also great for jungle clearing there. So the jungle item, so the first evolution, the jungle item will remain in your inventory, and then the final evolution is when the item is removed from your inventory, and then players will become empowered, obviously, with their chosen companion. So again, you got the Moss Stomper, the Scorch Claw, or the Gust Walker. So very quickly, is the Moss Stomper is kind of the tank one. The Scorch Claw is, I'm guessing, well, both of these are damage variants. It just depends which one you want. So basically look at which one you want, which one will give more for you, and go for that. Leashing range is becoming easier, and it's softer resets now. So again, adding to making jungle an easier role. And when I say easier role, is that a bad thing? It's not necessarily a bad thing. And also, I just noticed I'm probably orange because I have the night thingy on. So there we go. It's not necessarily a bad thing that the jungle is becoming easier. Basically, jungle has had a problem for a long time that Riot has tried to fix by throwing different champions at it, by buffing not jungle champions and giving them jungle scaling. That hasn't fixed it, because that was never going to fix the problem. To be honest, what they're doing here isn't going to fix the problem. They are trying to make the role more beginner-friendly, more welcoming, so more people will do it. But that still doesn't hide away why jungle is not popular, but also the most powerful role in the game. Because it is the role. That's the thing, is when objectives are so strong and junglers are controlling of objectives, it makes the biggest difference. And also, the jungler is the champion that affects all 3 lanes the most. Makes the most difference. This is not going to fix that. It's making it more forgiving. It's making it easier. It's making it more welcoming. But there will still be a jungle difference. Only one jungler will get stuff, and that will still be the biggest difference in the game. That is making a key difference in most games. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I don't think they're going to... I don't think it's going to fix it. There is also, again, upon making it more welcoming, there is now a recommended pathing thing that is in the game directly that will tell you, hey, just do this jungle clear. We got this from higher rating players that when they're playing Diana jungle, they do this, you can do that. And it's just a recommendation thing. I'm not against that. As I said, like here, they're the first clear paths were determined by gathering data from high skill junglers on their high mastery champs across the globe. So it's fine. Like that is good for practice and stuff. Jungling thing, I'm not convinced about that. New communication tools, I am convinced about because I think this is good. I have not played chat, and someone actually in my Twitch chat actually said to me today, was like, I've played a whole season now, not with chat and League of Legends. Like, how do I feel about it? Good. Like, honestly, this is the first season I think I played without chat the whole season, and it's my best season of ranked I've had. You know, we peaked at 142 LP Master, so I think it's better, you know. And so many people, and I saw it even on Reddit yesterday, of people talking about, I can't remember what they were talking about, of something, oh, it was to do with chat, and people going, I don't get it, like, why would you play the video game without the chat? That's the video game, and that's it. No, it's not. I play League for the mechanics of League of Legends. The chat is not the video game. It's not. You know, it's the when we all have our memories and stuff of video games, the thing that I remember the least is like my Xbox 360 days when we all grew up. When I loved Halo and I would just jump into random public lobbies and chat to random people, I don't remember that as much as still playing Halo. Halo was the game. Like, that's the point. League is the game. That's what I care about. And the chat experience makes that worse. I'm not going to use it. So a more robust ping system I am all for. So we've now got returning ones, retreat, formally you're in danger, so just get out of there. On my way, assist me, enemy missing. We're now getting push, all in, hold, and bait. I think they could have done some different ones here, but I think it's fine. Again, the League community, as we all know, uses these pings in various different ways. Obviously, the question mark ping that is staying is used for various reasons that we all know. There's also a second wheel that is now enemy vision and that type of thing. That is, well, vision cleared, enemy vision, and need vision. It also puts like a little timer on. If you manage to, like, if an enemy puts a ward down and you ping that ward, a little timer will actually appear on the enemy ward, knowing, like, now you have that information of when that runs out. I don't love that because that is very holding your hand. But the reason they're doing that, by the way, just to kind of say, is because third-party programs are already doing that. So, as some of you may not know, I think we'll get it later in this little thing, Riot are actually taking away summoner names in Champ Select. And they are doing that to lessen the power of third-party apps. Those third-party apps are no longer going to be able to retrieve data as easily as they used to. And they give too much data. Like, even if you're okay with them, you know, we're partner with the Professor, that's great. But they do make the game too easy. Like, it's that simple. When you are using one of those softwares, that you have such a big competitive advantage if versus someone that's not. And that isn't the best thing in the world. So to level the playing field, what Riot are doing is, yes, they are lessening the advantage of having those third-party tools, but they're still keeping elements of what those third-party tools had and are actually just bringing them into the game. So it is what it is. There's also a caution ping also. Objective planning, which again, I still think is a useless thing. So if you ping a dragon, a vote system, like a surrender vote will pop up, and then you can vote if you want to do the dragon or not. The jungler's vote counts as 2, but as I said, it literally will be useless if the jungler says no. If the jungler says no, the vote should be a no straight away, because in essence, the jungler is the reason that objective was happening or not. They have the smite. So, in my opinion, yeah, make a jungler's vote 2, and that kind of gives the whole, hey, we're voting for it. Yes, we've all said yes. Okay, let's do it. But the moment the jungler says no, the vote should just be cancelled, and it's a no, because you can't have 4 of your teammates do it. Your jungler's like, I'm not doing it. And then, boom, the enemy team steals it. The jungler said no, that's their job. So, I don't know. I do feel a little bit weird about that. Vision system update, allied ward tracking, enemy ward timers. That's what I mentioned earlier, that ping thing that tells you all that stuff. Suggested ability level up. So this is actually something that has been in other MOBAs for a long time, but not in League. So again, more beginner friendly. So Riot are trying to target newer players if they're trying to rebuild the game, or not rebuild the game, but build the game continuously. So you can turn this off, by the way, but if you're playing a champion and you're not quite sure about everything, you can just turn on this setting and it will tell you which ability they recommend you to level in which order. So you level 1, it will flash, do your Q, and then level 2, level your W, and it will just continue to do that. Again, furthering the point of they are trying to lessen third-party tools and third-party websites, because those are things, all the guides and stuff. Riot, if you notice, is doing a lot of things that those websites do, but now in the game. Top lane orientated changes, so it's experience we're getting here. So more experience for top lane and technically mid, I think. So yeah, mid and top are getting a bit more experience. Bot duo is getting a bit less experience, but mid is getting a bit less gold. I'm okay with this overall. I'm not sure about the gold thing for mid, but yeah, I agree with the experience. There are so many times that you go for a dragon in fairly the early game, and you're like level 7 as a mid laner, and your bot lane are both level 6. That is a bit, like, as a solo laner, I should, in my mind, as just an average game, when my bot lane are level 6, I should be like level 8, maybe even pushing level 9. Like, that's where my mind is, but maybe this will help that, but it's only 2.15 experience more for solo champions, so it's not that much. New updated items. So I'm not going to go through all of these because it's a lot. And as I said, I don't have too much time to make this video. But anyway, we'll kind of just go over an overview. So we got Jack Show, the Protean. Become an unkillable monstrosity over the course of a fight. So it's a scaling tank item that gives you 2 armor and MR stacks up to 8, up to 8 max. And then at max stacks, you become empowered, instantly draining enemies around you for 3% of your max health, and increasing your resists by 10% until the end of combat. That's a very strong item. That is a mythic, by the way, if you are wondering. Should be. But yeah, it's a mythic. You can see that by having a mythic passive. The Unspoken Parasite. So I'm guessing, by the way, these artworks are not complete. Oh, no, it's the Ornn upgrade. Okay, never mind. The Ornn upgrade is the Unspoken Parasite. Radiant Virtue. Become a shining light and lead the charge as a beacon of hope for your allies. So, upon casting your ultimate, you transcend, increasing your max health by 10% for 9 seconds. While transcended, you and your allies within 1200 range, pretty decent, of you gain a 15 non-ultimate ability haste and deal for 1% of your max health every 3 seconds. Whoa. Increased by up to 100% based on your champion's missing health. That's really strong. Wow, tank items. People have said tank items are going to be nuts. Yes, they are. And that is the upgrade for Ornn. And then Heartsteel, grow into a Goliath that towers over foes and pummels the opposition. Okay, if this makes you physically bigger, Cho'Gath. Charge up a powerful attack against a champion over 3 seconds while within 700 range of them. The charge attack deals 125 plus 6% of your max health as bonus physical damage and grants you 10% of that amount as permanent max health. Whoa! Whoa! 10% of that you gain as max health, and that's just going to continue to get. And then the myth that you're getting 6% champion size. Whoa! Tank meta is back. Whoa! Oh my god! Iceborne Gauntlet lives, baby. So again, when they made all the new items, for some reason they name changed a bunch of them when they didn't really need to. So like Iceborne Gauntlet was a cool name. They changed it to Frostfire Gauntlet, which they didn't really need to. So Iceborne is after using an ability, your next attack is enhanced. It's kind of the same, more or less thing. Does slows and has a more powerful attack kind of thing. So there's that. Frozen Fist, Rod of Ages. So yes, the one you've been waiting for. An old friend returns to help you scale into late game. If you're newer to the game, you won't know, but this is an old item that they're bringing back. It was a staple item for champions like Anivia, Kassadin. A scaling mage used Rod of Ages. Rise, like that was that item. So it's a mythic, by the way. And the thing in my mind, is it going to be better than Liandry's for like Anivia? I don't know. Is it going to be better for like a Malzahar? I don't think so, because Malz is so good with the dot for Liandry's, so I'm not sure. But the same old passive is back. So the item gains 20 health, 20 mana, and 4 ability power every minute up to 10 times for a maximum of 200 health, 200 mana, and 40 ability power, obviously on top of what it's already giving you here. Upon reaching max stacks, gain a level, and effects of on eternity are increased by 50%, which we'll look in a minute. But yes, gain a level. You just get granted a level when you hit max stacks. That is kind of nuts. That it could be the difference of hitting, you know, if it's your mythic, that could be getting level 11 pretty early, and having a big dragon fight with a level 2 ultimate. That's pretty sick. But then the eternity is restore mana equal to 8% of pre-mitigation damage taken from champions, and health equal to 20% of mana spent, up to 15 health per cast. Toggled abilities can only heal for up to 15 per second. For every 250 health or mana restored this way, gain 25% decaying move speed for 2 seconds. Whoa, okay, that's really good for Rise. And obviously, as we said, when this gets maximum in stacks, Eternity, which is this, you increase it by 50%. And also, yeah, you can't level above level 18, by the way. But yeah, that's interesting to me. Very interesting. Catalyst is back as the item that builds into Rod of Ages. Abyssal Mask. Abyssal Mask is a niche item that has struggled to find its way into builds. Returning Catalyst and its Eternity passive should make it a solid option for those looking for a combination of magic resist, mana, and health. Pretty good. Randuin's Omen is getting some new things. So it's got all what it has before, but then it has Humility, briefly slow nearby enemies for 55% per 2 seconds, and critical resistance. Crit strikes deal 20% less damage. I thought Randuin's always did that. What? We're returning the reduction to its passive. Oh, they got rid of it. Okay, well, there you go. Sunfire is no longer a mythic item, but obviously, yes, they have reduced its strength partially. So magic resist, it's now back to being an armor item, basically an armor and health item. So it costs less. It's now a legendary. It gives less health, but it gives more armor, but it gives no magic resist, no ability haste. And it no longer does the flame touch passive, but it still does immolate damage, but it doesn't do increased damage anymore. But there's that. Turbo Chemtech, again from mythic to legendary. So again, but this is a magic resist item, not an armor item. So there you go. Ages is being made cheaper. Ravenous Hydra, great for AD melee champions looking to carry their teams of damage. So gain 0.6 AD and 0.1% Omnivamp on minion kills. Increased to twice that amount for champions. Stacks up to 24 AD and 4% Omnivamp. So just... And then you lose half these stacks on death. Oh, interesting. It's like a... Oh. It's a scaling thing. That's kind of cool. I like that in a way. Oh, Spirit Shojin's back. Again, an old item that was very hard to balance, and Riot basically never got it right. So I don't know why on earth they're bringing it back. It's basically a cooldown reduction AD item. So Riven players right now are probably absolutely licking their lips. Hell, even Aatrox players might be licking their lips too. It does worry me. I will say that that's back. And meanwhile, I'm going to have some of my M milkshake. Throat's getting dry. We got that on the way home. So, yeah. So, I'm nervous about this returning. Champions, damage to non-champions is being buffed for Cho'Gath up to 1200 base, but still keeping what he already has. Oh, they're doing that because of Smite. So with the increase to Smite, they're matching his base damage of Feast as the maximum Smite's going to be. I'm okay with that. Oh. Lilia's becoming a melee champion. Change from range to melee. Base health decreased, health growth increased, passing healing versus in the champs. Wow. Changing Lilia to a melee champion to be more intuitive with how she attacks. We expect this to be a slight nerf to her, so we're preemptively buffing her passive. She is like what I would say is a challenger champion, so in the right hands she was very dangerous, and maybe she was overly dangerous because she was ranged, so making her melee, it's going to make her more skillful as well, I would say. Interesting. A buff also to Nunu's Chomp. Same as Cho'Gath, basically. That it will go up to the 1200, which is obviously equaling Smite. They also have a typo here. That should be 1000, but it says 100. But yeah. And then Rakan is also becoming a melee champion. Oh, okay. Rakan's going from range to melee. So again, that will help with things like building Targons and stuff like that. And obviously, some of these items that we've gone through here, they have different scaling for ranged or melee champions. So that's kind of what that means. Smite, 450 base, then goes to 900, but then with your companion... Oh, wait, that's what it was, sorry. But then it's starting at 600, then 900 when your companion gets 20 stacks. And then at 40, it gets to 1200. It's now called... Base Smite is still Smite, but instead of challenging and chilling, it's Unleashed versus Primal. Turret adjustments, gold given per plate is more, and armor and MRs more. So they're actually slowing down the early game, but rewarding you more if you actually get it a plate. So that's good. Aram, a bunch of changes. Champion base stat cleanup. We're updating some champion base stats to make their numbers a bit more clean. So if any champion with base health, base AD, HP, mana, MR, mana growth, they're just rounding it to the nearest one. and AD growth, mana regeneration, and all that, rounding it to the nearest 0.05, and attack speed to the nearest 0.005. Behavioral update, the long-awaited update to League's text evaluation service we discussed earlier this year, is being released with this patch. For a long time, we've recognized disruptive chat in League of Legends, but haven't been able to target it as effectively as we wanted to because of the challenge of separating disruptive chat from well-meaning chat, especially chat which is marginally disruptive. With our new system, we can more effectively identify the nuance between basically either. So we are expecting an increase in disruptive chat detections over 20 times. Penalty ladders will be upgraded accordingly to match the new severity of tiers we can detect, and players who chat restricted will no longer be able to send messages to any players in games. DMs, though, can still be available. When adding party members using the plus button, recently honored and material. Okay, so we've seen this a little bit in work already, but basically, if someone says a bad thing, they get instantly muted in game and get punishment when it detects something. So that is quite powerful, and I'm actually kind of all for it, but it still doesn't really make me want to put chat on, I'm going to be honest. AFK surrender time update, they are changing it, which is nice. So currently, if a player is AFK after the time remake window passes, you need to wait 10 minutes before your team is allowed to call for a unanimous early surrender. In line with our previous updates of the remake system, we want to give teams the agency to end the game when competitive integrity has been impacted. So teams have the option to call a ununanimous early surrender vote if an AFK player is detected on their team between 10 minutes and 15 minutes to now 3 minutes 30 to 15 minutes. So if the game is, there's someone, it's 5 minutes in the game, someone's DC'd and they've gone, you can now surrender vote. That's nice. And obviously you will get a lesser punishment, lesser LP loss if someone has been detected AFK. Champ select anonymity. So as we discussed in the article, we think the best version of League is not one where you metagame based on the other players in your lobby. We also want to avoid using someone else's win-loss streak, playing different, etc. So, allies and friends, in ranked solo, duo, champ select, all names that aren't yours or your duo partners will be replaced by ally 1 through 5. I'm okay with this to a certain extent because I personally don't even look up stuff in champ select. I know a lot of people do, but the negative of this, and I can't hide it, it hasn't impacted me, but I know it's impacting a lot of people. Apparently, in low rating tiers, the amount of bots that are in ranked games is frightening at the moment. And maybe Riot are trying to work on something, which is great, but this is only going to aid that because you can't then look up the players, which some low rating players are doing now, and go, that's a bot, I'm just going to dodge because this game's a loss anyway. By the way, why are those bots existing? From what I know, they are basically bots to automatically get low rating to then they can sell, because there are people out there that obviously want the lowest rating accounts to do YouTube content with or stuff like that. So it's unfortunate, but yes, it does exist. Game remake update. So whether someone is or isn't connected to the game or pressing buttons on their mouse and keyboard, if they're doing nothing but standing in the fountain, then they aren't playing the game. At the end of the day, this is what we want to protect against with the remake system. So, fountain check. Before 3 minutes, if a player is in the fountain for a 90 continuous seconds, their team is able to initiate a remake. At 45 seconds, a player will receive a chat message telling them they need to leave the fountain. At 70 seconds, they will receive a pop-up message telling them that they need to leave the fountain. So it's warning them that, hey, you need to play. Eternals, I don't care. Mythic content overhauls, so we're now getting new ones here, and then they're leaving. The rewards, the ranked season obviously finished by now, and all rewards should be out for basically in a month. So December 14th, you should have the rewards that you are owed. Bug fixes, upcoming skins, as we just saw, including the Victoria Sejuani, which looks really cool. But yeah, Twisted Fate, Nami, Teemo, Taric, Nami, Ornn, Lissandra, and the Gragus. And then there is all the chromas. Can I make that bigger? There you go. So it's a bit of a cut-off because obviously with what I'm doing. But that is base. And wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My own. So wait, hang on. No, okay, so yeah, basically, this is base gold. That's plat. That's diamond. That's master. There's a grandmaster here, and there's challenger, which you can't see. I believe it's solo queue and flex queue. That is what I'm guessing. So like those two rows. So yeah, that's base gold, and then it goes up, and that's what I'm solo queue and flex. So there will be a slight difference, or maybe the name is different depending if you're solo or flex, maybe. But there we go. That is the preseason patch, everybody. Obviously, didn't go into everything in detail. Apologies for that, but I have made content on most of this stuff in detail a few weeks ago. It does start tomorrow, and as I just said, we're not going to be doing live commentaries on my channel until next week. I want to kind of finish last season, if you will, with all the content that I've got in the pipes, because I think it is worth showing all of that stuff. And then we'll begin preseason stuff very soon. Again, reminding what my plan is, I'm going to jump on a old Smurf that I've not played in over a year, so the MMR will be kind of reset. And we're going to do kind of a newer unranked to diamond, but with a very big twist. We're going to be doing a Nuzlocke challenge. So what that means, and again, this is, I think, originally from the Pokemon community, but some league creators like Ross, Boomsocks, and Bizzle have done this, so I don't take credit for coming up with the idea. Basically, you play a champion in the series. If you win the game, it means you can play that champion again. You don't have to play it consecutively. You can play whatever you want. But if you win with a champion, you can play it again, no problem at all. But if you play a champion and you lose with that game, that champion is now dead in the rest of the series. You cannot play it again. The only thing that I'll ask you guys, if you want to give some feedback about that series, is there any... Do you think there's any ways that a loss will be okay for a champion not to die? And what I mean with that is, if you have a troll or an actual inter or an AFK, does it count as a loss? Let me know what your thoughts are. Other than that, let me know what your thoughts on preseason are, the jungle changes, the return of Chemtech Dragon, all the new items. Let me know. But that is going to be it. As always, guys, thank you so much. Please do, by the way, enjoy the content in this kind of week or so of the last season. I do think it is worth watching. By the way, buckle in for quite a lot of Malzahar, because yes, I did play a lot of Malzahar. But anyway, that's gonna be it. If you guys enjoy, throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime.